Tyler Hunsberger. And I don't know about you all, but that is definitely the kind of music I want to be listening to on a night like tonight, huh? Yeah. Good stuff. My name's Scott Roth, and I want to thank you for coming out tonight.
Yes,
Not only are you listening to some good music, getting some great food from Jesse's and some great water ice from Rita's, but you're also here to hear about what we do as Project Haven.
Your bow here?
And then later, you get to listen to Susquehanna Sanction. Because I really know that's why I'm here, is to listen to them and the Hunsbergers tonight. So, I want to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do, and why is it important that we're here in Souderton tonight. So Project Haven was started 2.5 years ago because I got angry.
I invited you too.
I got very angry because a student committed suicide in my town. If you didn't know, suicide is the second or third leading cause of death of teenagers in America. Number one is unintentional injury, mostly by car accidents. And 2 and 3, depending on the age bracket, is homicide or suicide. I get tired of people not having hope. So I cried out to God. And I said, why? Why are you not angry? Why are you not changing this? And he just said, I'm waiting on you and everybody else. That was a prolific moment to do that. So what started to happen was I went out to churches in my community and we started to ask questions to the school district, what's your top 3 problems? They said they wanted a community center after school programming, and they wanted some way to hub up the community, a way for us to gather in a suburban setting together. So we were given a church building to use as a community center. The high school gave us students to work in it. And we renovated the community center and started off in this project to go change the world. I could sit here and tell you project after project after project, but that's Upper Perk. I want to tell you about what's happening here in Souderton and how we're moving into Quakertown as well and trying to change the landscape of our communities, one project at a time. What we started in Upper Perk was a bicycle shop, a recycling center, where we have students that work as volunteers to learn how to do a business. We have a robotics club where they learn how to build and create from the ages of 8 all the way up to 18. We also have a hangout spot on Friday and Saturday nights called the Alternative Brew. And all these things we can do in any suburban community. All these things we can do to teach teens how to go and do more. See, I got tired of doing programs for teenagers, and I want to go have solutions with teenagers and adults together. So one of the issues here in Souderton is food. There are people that have food, and there are people that have not food. The haves and the have-nots. We're used to hearing that conversation. But I want to ask a question. If we got all this land, and we got all this space, how comes people go hungry? I mean, think about it for a moment, right? It's not hard for us to get food, if you think about it, because all we have to do is start a garden. So years ago, I thought it was that easy. I thought all I got to do is start a garden. And I did it at an old church I was at. And there was a problem when you start a garden. Everybody loves planting a garden, but not a lot of people like to weed it. Right? How many of you love weeding? Raise your hand if you love weeding. Right there. All right, there they are, folks. Those are the ones you bring over to your house. They love weeding. No, if you think about it for a moment, the other thing you need is water. That gets expensive. Because a lot of places for you to get water, you've got to bring in the water to it. Or you got to drill a well. You could get in the rain collection, but then you got to build these massive things to collect the rain so you can water your garden, which in turn takes away the space for your food. The other problem is having people. So I started to do research on this. And there's this methodology of gardening called aquaponics. It is fish and vegetables. And to put it bluntly, the fish poop in the water. You put the water up on the vegetable garden, and the vegetables like that. Then you filter the water back down, and the fish like the clean water. So I started to experiment with this a little bit in my house with some students. And then I went to Disney World. And they've got this stuff down there. 90% of the vegetables in Disney World is grown by Disney. So I said if Walt could do it, we could do it. So we're starting to experiment and grow food and fish together. Now you might say, well, big deal. Just sounds like you're gardening. The difference, though, is that there's no weeds, and you can do this all year round. And it takes very minimal work. So what we're starting to do in Souderton now is people at Zion Mennonite Church, as well as Ladies Church, and others are starting to talk about how we can start producing food year-round so people don't have to be hungry. You guys think that's a good idea? That didn't sound like it. Do you think that's a good idea to feed people? All right. So as Susquehanna Sanction starts making their way up, I want to wrap this up for you. We at Project Haven, we want to take students and we want to make them part of the solution. We want to be able to show them that they can be creators and not consumers. We want them to understand that they have the power and the ability to make a change. And over this past year, we have over 100 students come through our community center that are empowered and enabled to make a difference. And if you wonder where I get all this stuff from, there's this book called the Bible. It's got a lot of wisdom in it. There's some verses in Luke 10 that really struck me. And it says that the man of peace is supposed to go into a town and live in a home there. And then that man of peace is going to eat with the town. They're going to heal, and then after they heal the sick, they're allowed to proclaim the name of Christ. So I wondered if that actually works. And that's what we started doing. Now, the one problem was in Upper Perk, just so you know, we don't have any food festivals. So I asked people what the number one food is that they would gather with. What do you think it was? What do you think the number one food is that people, on average, would want to eat together?
Bacon.
Not pizza, but it goes on pizza.
Bacon.
Bacon! That's right. Bacon. And you know what? Over 300 people gathered to eat bacon in Upper Perk. And I got to see what it was like to eat with my town. And then as we started solving problems and started healing things, we started to see transformation and change. So tonight later on, there's going to be a chance for you to donate to our organization as Project Haven. I need you to understand that that money is not just going out there somewhere. But if you ever want to see where your money's spent, you're more than welcome to hang out with me. You can come up to our property or get involved here in Souderton in the works that we're doing here. But I promise you tonight, whatever you give will be multiplied 10 times. Because I've watched over and over how much $1 can go towards a student's life for change. I have students now that have graduated and moved on, but they come back every break because they're in college. They get together with me on lunch breaks because now we're friends. And they're part of a movement to heal our communities one project at a time. Let's give it up for Susquehanna Sanction.